I would like to welcome you on behalf of TWEC. I am Ünal Terzi, the second president of TWEC. The moderator was supposed to be Mustafa, but there has been a change in the program for 5 minutes, and I took over the duty. Therefore, I am not well prepared. However, the participants are professionals in their fields, and they will handle the situation very well. I need to read your resumes shortly, but I had better leave it to you to introduce yourself to save time. In countries like ours, which are at the very beginning of the liberalization process of the energy sector, non-governmental organizations are like the bridges between the public and the private sectors. They sometimes work like fire extinguishers. They are like the regulators, which regulate relationships. They are indispensable. Renewable energy types in Turkey are wind, solar, biogas, and geothermal. The incentives by the government have been insufficient in encouraging investors in these fields. The government is reluctant to remove the obstacles for investments since they have their own reflexes. With a history of 20 to 25 years in Europe, renewable energy, which is something very new in Turkey, is something new for the rest of the world as well. Accordingly, when looked at in the terms of long-term projections and Turkey's future, you emerge as the participants of a vital issue, but when you cannot see the same approach and the synchronization on the side of the policymakers, the process is interrupted. We are confronted by practices deterring investors. Non-governmental organizations are the organizations which contribute a lot to overcome these interruptions and difficulties. Therefore, non-governmental organizations carry out an intermediate function which speeds up the process. I would like to thank them on behalf of the sector. Our first speaker is the Vice President of Gündar, Dr. Kemal Gani Bayraktar.
Uygulamalar karşımıza çıkıyor. Sivil toplum örgütleri de bu kırılmaları, bu senkronize olmaktaki güçlükleri aşmakta çok büyük katkı veren kuruluşlar. Ben de eski bir devlet memuruyum. Biliyorum yani özel sektöre oradan başka bakıyorsunuz. Sonra ayrıldığınızda, emekli olduğunuzda birden 180 derece farklı bakıyorsunuz. Oradan öyle gözüküyor oluyor. Evet. Dolayısıyla sivil toplum örgütleri, şimdi kendileri takdim edecekler konuşmalarında, böyle bir yani ara bulucu fonksiyon, süreci hızlandırıcı fonksiyonlar icra ediyorlar. Kendilerine sektör adına da teşekkürlerimi ve minnetlerimizi iletiyorum. Birinci konuşmamız Doktor Kemal Gani Bayraktar Bey, Gündar Başkan Yardımcısı. Buyurun Kemal Bey.
A professor is invited to a university to give a seminar. He enters the hall before the seminar and makes his preparations. During this time, there is only one person in the hall. When the time of the seminar comes, the professor says hello to this person and adds, "You are the only listener here, so I would like to ask you, what would you do if you were in my place?" The person replies, "I'm a simple person, professor, but if I were you, I would do like this. If all the horses in my barn but one escaped, I would still go on feeding that horse." Upon hearing this, the professor gives the best seminar of his life. When the seminar ends, the professor asks the man, "You are the only person whose opinion I can ask, so how did you find it?" The man replies, "As I said before, I'm a simple person. I do not understand these kind of things very well. But if I were you, I wouldn't give all the barley in the barn to feed just one horse, as this would cause overfeeding. For this reason, I am here with just 6 pages in my hand today. They talked about the importance of renewable energy. I would like to stress that we non-governmental organizations are very important. Based on this, I had some preparations before coming here, but before that, let's have a light dessert to digest the meal we have just had. This is from a study we conducted in cooperation with IFSAC.
Ses böyle değil ama.
We are lucky to have this source of energy because it does not belong to anyone. No one needs to fight with one another for it. The only thing that needs to be done is to produce healthy and effective technology to convert it into energy. Getting organized in a healthy and efficient manner is inevitable. It is inevitably necessary. Sector stakeholders need to come together and create public opinion within a particular discipline on issues which concern them and the public, and reflect this on the community in the light of scientific data. The first step is taken by those who want to be part of a good plan with the feeling of doing something. After this, they generate ideas and dreams to find solutions. Then the thought, I cannot do this on my own, so I need to cooperate with others to work on the project, comes to mind, which constitutes the first step in getting organized. Just like TWEC, the International Solar Energy Community is an association whose foundation was laid by the officials of the Ministry of Energy of Turkey in 1992. It goes into action by the decision of Council of Ministers in 1992. Among its founding members are the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources, former General Directorate of Electrical Power Resources, General Directorate of Renewable Energy, General Directorate of State Meteorology Affairs, and TWEC. It's an association which carries out its activities with approximately more than 120 members, especially the industrialists in the field of solar energy. It was founded as Turkey section of International Solar Energy Society, and its name is International Solar Energy Society Turkey section, Gündar in short. There is a time for everything. Nowadays, there is an increase in awareness of solar energy. There is great environment in terms of all renewable energy resources. In this context, main activities and aims of Günder include the development of science and technology, encouragement to basic applications, research and development, the promotion of the use of solar energy, obtaining solar energy in all areas from passive ways, and encouraging training in areas related to solar energy. In parallel with these purposes, Günder diversifies and improves its aims. In this target, it tries to contribute to the healthy development of solar energy sector with the development of new production techniques and processes, basic research and development activities. Besides, Günder tries to contribute in collaboration with sector stakeholders in international and national associations. However, this should be in a more systematic way and requires more collaboration. Moreover, it is in the cooperation with the International Solar Energy Society, ISEC, European Solar Thermal Industry Federation, ISTIF, and the work groups of International Energy Agency. It carries out its studies not only to take advantage of solar energy, but also to contribute both in a national and international level through Turkish industry. While trying to contribute together with all the renewable energy fields relevant industry associations, it also cooperates with various institutions throughout the country to increase the awareness of solar energy utilization. At a point where public institutions, industry and universities meet, it works as a civil society organization, just like a catalyst or a mediator. Especially when we look forward, it tries to contribute to the sector by developing projects and improving its resources by providing co-financing apart from its research and development studies. One other thing is to be facilitator and leader for the technical and financial regulation and studies to inform the public. It incentivizes solar energy source applications and other energy efficiency, renewable sustainability concepts, and the plans of the central and local administrations and public and private organizations' strategic actions. I am trying to make it shorter. If anyone would like to get the full text, I can email it to you. In this context, especially last we started to publish a magazine. International Photovoltaic Technologies platform started its operations under Günder structure. Together with this, we constantly try to increase the membership structure. Our membership number started to increase with the applications of not only solar energy owners but also licensed ones. On the other hand, with the production and distribution side. In fact, we try to combine the solar energy with building architecture. We try to expand our studies in various ways. We are in contact with related public agencies and environment and urban development ministries. In addition, the training of the employees of the Ministry of Development and the Development Agency is among our several works. We worked with the Professional Proficiency Organization in order to increase the quality of the sector on the assembly side. In fact, there are professional standards in this area, both solar heat and solar electricity, level 1, level 2, 3, 4, or 5. For this object, we are in the planning process of education studies, test and certification processes. As a member of Turkish Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges Climate Parliament, we try to transfer our knowledge there in order to increase the share on the side of solar heating and cooling. In addition to this, in the photovoltaic side, our work is going to continue. We are about to start the work of solar power, especially in clustering. In addition, we are working on a solar power irrigation project on the demands of several ministries and local administrations. On the other hand, we have some projects with EIDP. There is a preparatory work on developing an example village with energy efficiency, in fact with zero energy. Besides, we are working with Southeastern Region Development Administration in order to grow the capacity of that region. Of course, only national studies are not enough. Also, work on the international area is also needed. To be more active, we planted a representative of ours in the European Board of ISES. Right now, we are working to place another representative in the World Board of ISES. In 2014, we are planning intensive national and international activities about solar power in order to have solar power to be discussed more in Turkey. Solar TR is in Izmir in 2014. Following that, Heating Cooling Congress will be in Istanbul. After that, there will be another solar TR which we organize in every 2 years and will be in Istanbul. We are also working right now to have the World Energy Congress in Turkey in 2017. In addition, we are reorganizing the internal structure of the association, representing all the sector stakeholders in photovoltaic distribution, production and training areas. It is apparent that the biggest income method of associations and non-governmental organizations is not their membership fees. We are also working on increasing the side income. Non-governmental organizations determining the social realities, needs and problems and provide solutions for them. It will also energize other stakeholders of the sector. We should empower our people and organizations to organize, work on problems, to get into action, because we are not professional volunteers, but volunteered professionals. All of us have other activities other than our activities in these organizations. In this context, professional employment organizations come into prominence. In this context, strategy is multidimensional. You have to get into contact with every point of country that is affected. If you look at the potential of solar power, we are 27th in the world. We are in an advantageous position in terms of solar power potential because of our geography. I prepared some propositions. I should work all together as non-governmental organizations, and I wanted to share this proposition with you. I can talk more, but I do not know if we have enough time. Let's do this way then, if you accept. We have to make an inventory study as organizations. The HQs of our organizations are in different provinces. This difference can be turned into synergy if we work on it. An organization that is in Ankara can help another one which is located in another province. An inventory study should be made and common use and efficient work opportunities should be investigated. We have to determine the common work topics, targets and strategies of the sector organizations based on their priorities. And sector SPKs, investigations and participations, should be evaluated in terms of their investigations and work. The president of the sector organizations can come together regularly and these studies may continue. For the studies to be efficient, a healthy communication system should be set up intra-organizations. 2023 targets that will lead the sector common strategy should be learned. We should know where we are running at. At first step, there is a target of 600 megawatt solar power in 2023. Also, there is a target of increasing the amount of renewable energy resource to 30% of the total production. But there are also our international responsibilities. There are the climate change and carbon emissions. These targets should not be overlooked and should be reviewed constantly. In order to realize the common targets of the associations, a common fund structure should be established, and this can be supported with developed sources and projects. One thing not to forget about these associations is that it is not only the businessmen that are the members of these non-governmental organizations. They are the whole public. There are people from the public sector, even in our board of management. Also, we have members from vocational high schools and from universities. In the common activities, there can be a cooperation about the training work. The aim is to increase the sector employment. I thank you for your patience and attention. If you have any questions. NGO means non-governmental organization. The word civil is in the name of civil society institutions. But there are people from the government in your association. How can you explain this? I can explain this way. Yes, NGO means non-governmental organizations, but as we know, our associations are formed according to standing rules. There is no state involvement in their formations, although there may be some public officials as a member of these organizations. We may welcome to everyone. In Turkey, the issue is not only the production of electricity. There is the issue of heat also, and on the heat side, there is ready infrastructure in Turkish industry. With solar power, not only we get heating and cooling, but also we can produce electricity. In order to advance in this field, we should get everybody from architects to engineers, from professors to politicians, involved in this process. Thank you. My name is Azim Maktur. I am at Istanbul Branch Manager of Mechanical Engineering Member, Energy Commission. We had a really good study with Mr. Necdet Altıntop, who is the president of Günder. We prepared a report about the management of energy equipment. This report will be presented in the Energy Congress at the end of this year. I would like to mention that Chamber of Mechanical Engineering is accredited by TWEC for documentation of personnel. Therefore, it operates in many different fields. In order to lead the field correctly, it is apparent that the educated employees should be authorized. I would like to express that we can get our resources together with Günder in these topics and work together. Thank you. Is there any other question? My name is Aydın Gök. I am the general manager of a company. The firms that want to invest in solar power in Turkey mostly worries about whether they will benefit from domestic contribution payment or not. Is there any activities in Turkey about the definition of technology, and if there are, what are they? What is the situation of domestic production right now? Thank you. My colleague after me can answer this question better than me, but I can say that solar thermal side is very more ready as an industry. Right now there is nothing that we are dependent on foreign parts, except the selective percentages. But when we look at technology transfer, especially it is important that we do as much as possible domestically. Also there is the aspect of Turkey's relationships with its neighbors. If you look at the neighbor markets, you can see that there is not only the domestic market but also the international market, and our members need those markets. By saying members, I mean not only the producers but also the designers and all other employees. In 18th of December there will be a big activity in Istanbul. We are going to advertise about it soon. This activity will bring everybody together, from producers to designers and financiers and all stakeholders. In addition, there are international energy agencies working groups. These working groups have two different structures for solar power. The first one is Photovoltaic Technologies platform. The second one is Solar Heating and Cooling platform. Under PV section, there are 5 or 6 sub-working groups. Some are technology and some are politics. Under solar heating or cooling, there are 13 or 14 sub-working groups. The applications for this have been completed and the approval process is in order. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Energy co-lead for us to participate there, like saying that this association can represent Turkey. We will send people to these groups and they will learn not only the market but regulations and frame conditions. Now we need to learn about this and prepare ourselves for that objective. The best technological transfer is know-how transfer. Now the meetings will be more frequently too. Maybe not once a year but once a month so we can share knowledge. There are activities in 2015, 2016, 2017, and these activities are big ones and will include industry, R&D, technology production, domestic and foreign institutions. They will come together and discuss and find solutions. Clustering will also draw a roadmap for us. The heating side only the small units put on the rooftops, but they are inefficient. If you paint the depot in black, that will heat up the water because the sun is so powerful. Having some members from the public sector helps us to advance at some points faster. This is my answer. I hope it is what you expected. We thank you very much. Let's summarize the speech a little. We could not adjust the time really well. Solar power is a new field for us. The work of NGOs in this field is very important so that we do not experience the same problem that we have encountered in other fields. These NGOs should form a cooperation medium and I totally agree with that. Because all NGOs have common benefits in renewable energy resources. From regulation applications to advancing technology in Turkey, these are all connected to each other, wind, solar and the others. We thank you for your studies. Since you are leaving, I will present you your certificate. Thank you very much. May I add one more thing? In relation with the needs, we can get together and work with a common purpose. There is no need to name it. When you look at the sectors, maybe the topics are different, but there are many common methods and this will provide us some time. Thank you.
Güneş ısısından da yine elektrik üretimi mümkündür sıcak suyu buhar elde ederek. Bununla birlikte de hiç kullanmadığımız, değerlendirmediğimiz daha büyük bir fırsat var. Yani bina ile bütünleşik güneş enerjisi hem termal için hem ısı için hem de elektrik için. Bu da bir üçüncü nokta. O doğrultuda da bugün hem mimarından mühendisine ki politika yapıcısından da ne yazık ki Türkiye'de sistem yapılanma o şekilde. Herkes eğitmenlerle, öğretmenlerle ki özellikle iş gücü yetiştirme açısından herkesi işin içine dahil ederek, herkesi taşın altına sokarak, elini altına sokmasını sağlayarak bir yandan da bizleri daha iyi anlamasını olanak veriyor. Bu herkesi bir araya toparlamak. Bu kadar diyebilirim.
Buyurun.
Teşekkür ederim. Azmi Maktur, Makine Mühendisleri Odası İstanbul Şube Enerji Komisyonu Başkanıyım. Değerli sunum yapan arkadaşımıza öncelikle çok teşekkür ediyorum. Derneğin Günder'in başkanı olan Necdet Altıntop hocamızla Makine Mühendisleri Odası olarak bizler de bu dönem çok güzel bir çalışma yaptık. Özellikle enerji ekipmanlarının yeni üretimi ile ilgili bir sektör raporu hazırladık ve bu rapor bu senenin sonunda Ankara'daki Enerji Kongresi'ne sunulacak. Yani ODA tarafından düzenlenen, burada da zaten fotoğraf ortaya çıkacak. Burada şunu değinmek istiyorum. Makine Mühendisleri Odası personel belgelendirmesi konusunda TÜİK'ten akreditedir. Dolayısıyla birçok konularda, alanlarda bu alanda faaliyet göstermektedir. Alanın doğru yönlendirilmesi adına yetişmiş elemanların yetkilendirilmesinin çok önem taşıdığı aşikardır. Bu konuda Günder ile ve diğer dernekler ile birlikte güç birliğine, iş birliğine yapabileceğimizi de burada ifade etmek istiyorum. Teşekkür ediyorum.
Ben teşekkür ediyorum. Ben teşekkür ediyorum. Bunu değerlendireceğiz.
Var mı?
Ayhan Gök'le sanat örgütünden buluyorum. Aslında benim sorum paralel çakıştığı bir anlamda. Çünkü Türkiye'de güneş enerjisine yatırım yapmak için yola çıkan bütün şirketlerin ortak amacı Türkiye'de yerli katkı payından faydalanabilecek mi, faydalanamayacak mı? Sizin teknoloji transferi konusunda Türkiye'de yaptığınız faaliyetler, çalışmalar var mı? Varsa nelerdir? Şu anda Türkiye'de yerli üretimin durumu nedir? Onun hakkında çok kısa bilgi verirsiniz.
Şimdi PV tarafında meslektaşım daha fazla detaylı bilgi verebilir ama baktığımız zaman özellikle solar termal tarafı daha hazır sanayi olarak. Yani şu anda dışa bağımlı olacak hiçbir şey yok. Bir tek selektif yüzeyler dışında. Ama teknoloji transferi olarak baktığımız zaman özellikle sanayinin yerleşmeyle birlikte tamamen hani yerleşme değil ama yapabildiğimiz kadar mümkün olunca yerli yapabilme. Bir de şu fırsatımız var tabii ki. Türkiye'nin bulunduğu noktadan dolayı ve komşularıyla olan diyaloğundan dolayı komşuların da pazarlarına baktığımız zaman büyük bir potansiyel pazar var. Sadece yurt içi pazar değil, yurt dışı pazarlar var. Üyelerimizin de o pazarlara da ihtiyacı var. Üyelerimiz derken sadece üretici değil, projeci, tasarımcı yani bir bütün olarak baktığımız zaman güneş enerjisi sanayisine hizmet veren tüm paydaşları, eğitimine kadar, hatta mevzuat geliştirmesine kadar. Yani bugün örneğin işte binalarda ısıtım kuralları, standartı, tesis 821 hazırlandığında Enerji Bakanlığı yani Çevre Şehircilik Bakanlığımız o zaman Suriye'de, Irak'ta sürekli bunları yaptılar. Yönetmelikleri, bu standartları paylaştılar. Oranın bazı mevzuatların gelişmesine veya şekillenmesine alana kadar. Bizim en önemli noktamız burada. Örneğin mesela eğer bir gelişme varsa, işte lisans eğitim için başvuru, lisans üretim için başvuru olacaktı. O başvuru için bir çalışma hazırladık İstanbul'da ve Ankara'da. Başvuruların o başvurunun mümkün olduğunca istenen şekilde sağlamasını, istenen şekilde olmasını sağlamaya gayret ettik. Şu anda da yine başvuranlar için yardım ettiğimiz gibi ki bu tek sizin sorunuzun tam şey değil ama şimdi bir yere bağlayacağım o yüzden bunu örnekliyorum. Örneğin 18 Aralık'ta şimdi başvuranların hem bir yandan teknoloji ihtiyaçları var hem bir yandan finansman ihtiyaçları var. 18 Aralık'ta İstanbul'da şu an büyük bir etkinlik hazırlığı tamamlanmak üzere duyuruma başlayacağız önümüzdeki hafta içinde. Orada örneğin hem PV tarafında yani ürün hem de bununla birlikte finansman. Ama bununla birlikte de doğru ürün var ama bunu doğru kurmak lazım. Bunda bakımı var. Dolayısıyla hepsini bir konuda eriten yine bir etkinlik var. Paydaşları veya ihtiyaç sahiplerini çözüm sunanları bir araya getirmek üzere çalışma. Bir de çok önemsediğimiz Uluslararası Enerji Ajansı'nın bu çalışma grupları. Uluslararası Enerji Ajansı'nın çalışma gruplarında güneşle ilgili iki ayrı yapısı var. Birincisi PVPC denilen fotovoltaik teknolojinin platformu. Öbürü de Solar Heating Cooling, güneş ısıtma ve soğutma platformu. Bu iki ayrı yapının altında da şu anda halihazırda süre gelen PV tarafında 5-6 tane alt çalışma grubu var. Bunlar kimisi teknoloji, kimisi politika. Tarafında da, Solar Heating Cooling tarafında da yaklaşık 13-14 tane şu anda açık çalışma grubu var. Şu anda yapmaya çalıştığımızdaki bunun şu anda başvuruları tamamlandı. Süreç işliyor, kabul süreci işliyor ki bunu oralarda yer almak için özellikle Dışişleri Bakanlığı ve Enerji Bakanlığı'nın ortak yönlendirmesiyle oluyor onlar yurt dışında. İşte bu temsil edilir diye. Günler oralarda şimdi temsil edilme, yani Türkiye Güneş Enerjisi tarafından temsil etmek üzere çalışmaları yürütüyor. O zaman da buralarda sektörlerden yani ilgili konuyla ilgili kişileri oralara sürekli çalışma gruplarına gönderip şu anda yaklaşık 5-10 senesinin geleceğin teknolojileri orada çalışıyor. Onların sadece pazarı değil, yönetmeliğinden tutun da diğer çerçeve koşullarına kadar onlar hazırlanıyor. Dolayısıyla bizim o bilgiyi şimdiden öğrenip, şimdiden alıp dönüp burada hem kendimizi ona göre hazırlamamız lazım, hem sanayimizi ona göre hazırlamamız lazım. O zaman da bütün dünyaya bakmamız lazım. En sağlıklı şu andaki teknoloji transfer ederken aslında biraz da know-how transferi, yani bilgi transferini o şekilde konumlandırmak üzere çalışmamızı yapıyoruz. Bir de bu yurt dışından getirmeye çalıştığımız ki şeyler de artacak artık. Daha sık toplantılar yapılmaya başlayacak. Hani yılda değil ama belki aylık toplantılarla da. Burada da bilgiyi, yine o da bir teknolojinin parçası. Bilgiyi sürekli herkese paylaşılmasına hedeflenecek. Ama 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 şu anda sıraya koyduğumuz her yıl bir etkinlik ki çok büyük etkinlikler bunlar baktığımız zaman hem sanayisini, hem Ar-Ge'sini, hem teknoloji üretimini yurt dışı ve yurt içi enstitüler olmak üzere hepsini bir araya getirme ve yine bir herkes için de rahatlıkla tartışabileceği, sorunlara çözüm bulabileceği çalışmalar yapma. Kümelenmede bir bize yol haritası çizecek. Şu anda kümelenmenin başındayız. Onlar da özellikle güneş enerjisinin hem gücünü için hem de ısıl tarafında ki ısıl tarafında olay sadece ne yazık ki çatılara konulan düşük verimli sistemler. Oysa bunların daha yüksek verimlileri var ve bu bir mühendislik. Ama şu anda güneş o kadar iyi ki yani neredeyse bakarsanız eskiden bilmiyorum yani belki hani benden daha genç arkadaşlarımız bunu bilmeyebilir ama yani biz babaannem kova koyardı güneşin altına. Denizden gelince o ısınırdı zaten, suyla yıkanırdık. Yani güneş o kadar bereketli bizim ülkemiz için. Yani bir siyah boyamak bir tane depoyu rahatlatır, ısıtır. Ama çok büyük şeyler oluyor. Bu sefer şeyler de dikkat ederseniz iklim değişikliğiyle birlikte havanın değişimi, havanın davranışı da çok değişti. Artık daha şiddetli oluyor. Çatılara da o şekilde bir takım önlemler almak lazım. Buraya da biz bu sefer özellikle düzenleme açısından, mevzuat açısından bilgi ve teknolojiyi o şekilde transfer etmek için çalışıyoruz Ankara tarafında. Tabii üyemizin kamu olması da, yani kamudan üyelerimizin de olması, temsilcilerin olması da bize bazı noktalarda daha hızlı yol almayı sağlıyor. Bazı şeyleri daha erkenden aktarabilme, doğru bir şekilde konumlandırmaya çalışmayı sağlıyor. Bilemiyorum çok yararlı olabildi mi ama cevabım güldüğünüze göre oldu diye teşekkür ederim.
Kemal Bey çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Konuşma özetinden kısaca usul gereği bahsedelim. İşte vakit iyi ayarlayamadık vakti. Güneş yeni bir enerji uygulaması açısından yeni bir alan bizim için. Bu alandaki sivil toplum örgütlerinin çalışmaları, bu süreci diğer alanlarda yaşanan sıkıntıları yaşatmama anlamında çok önemli. Ayrıca dikkat çekici bir vurgusu da Kemal Bey'in, bu sivil toplum örgütlerinin belki bir federasyon veya diğer bir yapı formatta bir işbirliğinin sağlanması gerektiği ki ben buna katılıyorum. Neticede yeni enerji kaynaklarında bütün sivil toplum örgütlerinin müşterek paydaları var. Mevzuat uygulamalarından tutun da teknolojilerin, Türkiye'de teknolojinin ilerlemesi anlamında birbirine bağlı alanlar, güneş, rüzgar ve diğerleri. Hidroelektrik zaten oturdu Türkiye'de. Bu anlamda yaptıkları çalışmalardan dolayı kendilerine çok teşekkür ediyoruz ve başarılar diliyoruz.
Çok sağ olun.
Kemal Bey ayrılacak. O yüzden kendisine ben bir takdim edeceğim. Sertifikatını için teşekkür ediyorum Kemal Bey. Çok sağ olun. Teşekkür ederiz. Kalmadan görüşmek üzere.
Yani çok kısa bir şey diyebilirim. Sizin federasyon önlerinize hani doğrudan federasyon belki ileriki aşamadır ama ihtiyaçlar çerçevesinde bu adı konmasına gerek yok. Sonuçta bir araya gelerek bir platform adı konur. Bir arada çalışılabilir ortak hedefler doğrusu. Çünkü sektörlere baktığımız zaman işte biyos olsun, HES olsun, elektriği olsun farklı belki konular ama aslında sorunlarla veya çözüm aşamasındaki yollarda hemen hemen birbirine benzeri, paraleli. Bu iş olması hepimize zaman kazanır. Teşekkür ederim.
Sağ olun, var olun. Sıra olarak en son şeyden, peki sizden devam edelim.
Thank you, Mr. Hakan Erkan, Deputy Chairman of the Board of Genset. Here you go.
Yönetim Kurulu Başkan Yardımcısı. Buyurun Hakan Bey.
Değerli katılımcılar,
To tell you about myself briefly, I'm an electric engineer. Since 2001, we are working on solar and wind. The work we did in the company that we founded in 2001 still continues to produce energy in Turkish telecom. Therefore, we are in the kitchen of this sector. At the moment, I am the deputy chairman of the board of Genset, and as a professional area electric AŞ general manager. We are also investing in solar and wind as a company. I will talk briefly about our association structure and then especially about solar power. What are happening? What is it going? What are the stages of the investments? Since we are in the sector since 2001, we know that there were only 3 companies in the sector in 2001. When we came to 2009, this number increased enormously. So we thought these people are in the kitchen of this sector, so let's get together. As a result, we founded Gerset in 2009 with 46. I repeat, 46 founding members. As you see, there are many associations related to solar power that are in the effect of 1 or 2 firms. However, I would like to emphasize that Genset was established by 46 founding members, therefore it is not under the company's effect. Today our member number is 120. As you know, the sector is very active. Every month between 4 and 6 new members are coming to enroll. We hope that we will reach the number 200 in a short amount of time. Our location is Altıntepe, Istanbul, across the Bostancı Pier. We are concentrated on producing electricity from solar power. Our objective is to make everybody be aware that electricity can be produced from solar power. In other words, from a student in the school to a person on the street, everybody should know this. This is one of the main objectives. A second objective is to represent our companies in national and international platforms. One other is to develop the photovoltaic industry in Turkey. Legal regulations are also an important topic. We are discussing here since the morning. The situation we have today is not enough, but it is a good step because we hear from our members that at this point non-licensed members produce their electricity, sold it, built it, and got their money. And their number is more than 5 right now. This is another topic. You have built your plant, produced electricity and sold it. The point we have come is very important. But we have some problems in solar as well as wind. We will surpass them. We are in constant contact with lawmakers. We are telling them our problems. Of course, for the sector to develop correctly, setting these standards is very important. In 2002, when we installed the panels that we purchased from somewhere and the price was very acceptable, 1.5 years later, these panels stopped production. When we looked back, we could not find the company either their country. So it is important that not every product should enter Turkey. If it enters, we should stand behind it. And for the products that are manufactured in Turkey, there should be standards. Therefore, we think that this standards topic is very important. If you look at our member profile, there are people in the photovoltaic, in other words, energy conversion. Who are these? Panelists, manufacturers, inventors, cables, side industry. Their monitoring sector is also very developed right now. There are also distribution companies among our members, construction sector, lawyers. There were also individuals who give their heart to this. Yes, solar is developing in Turkey. What are we doing in the light of these indications? We have deficit in energy. The demand is fast, so solar should contribute to the demand increase in energy. As you know, targets are defined for 2023. The anticipated amount is 20,000 megawatt. So we say, why not let another 20,000 megawatt in solar? Because there's plenty of sun in Turkey. Our lands are suitable. Costs are decreasing as time passes. This target can be easily reached. We are struggling with this with great effort. Of course, our aim is to decrease external dependence. It is very important that we procure energy from a local source. Also, we are supporting R&D studies. Some of our targets include law preparation, enacting, draft submittance, and opinion delivery. We have missions. We have members who are trying to gain money from this because an association of industrialists and an industry. We have to be a buffer between laws and regulations and companies to combine them and to have their voice heard. And by being in relation with the relevant institutions, by consolidating information, we constitute balance in between. Other duties include education, training, seminars, reporting. For instance, recently We have given a training on unlicensed in a technical university. About 350 students were participated in our seminar. Yes, we will accelerate and increase the frequency of these seminars. Above this, we are conducting feasibility meetings with our members, monthly, bi-monthly. We discuss the problems of the sector. What can we do for the future of our sector? Everybody leave its trade identity out and share information and discuss how to improve solar energy. And our duty is to consolidate these discussions and submit to senior authorities. We provide the right and reliable information to people who are going to invest on photovoltaic sector, namely the solar energy. We prepare the relevant documents. We are translating the newly announced act into English. Some of it have already been translated. There is huge demand on part of foreign investors especially. They are asking what is happening and what the new developments are, because our duty is to explain and introduce all of them. We meet foreign investors with our members under our association. Finally, we say union of forces and federation. These subjects are very important. Our colleague also mentioned some minutes ago. So in this meeting, we would like to hold out the olive branch to you. For instance, we can hold out the olive branch firstly to the participants, the 4 panelists here who are our members also, together with our 5 members. To be the voice of a union is very important. Why shouldn't there be any renewable energy federation? There is wind, solar, bio, and as a federation we can more easily introduce ourselves. We can be more powerful. We shared this with you with TWEC. Would like to share this with our valuable colleagues and non-governmental organizations. We certainly believe that unity brings voice. So we are going to do what we shall do. It can be a platform at the first step. Then we can prepare the infrastructure. We can form a working group. In our association, we believe that this should be a federation. Being a platform at first may be good, but maybe we should move forward and become a federation. We should reach the sufficient number, but we believe that there is safety in numbers, and this will carry us further. We have 120 and now we have 121 members. Our members are companies that employ 1 employees to very high number of employees. We have a very wide range, and also we have individual members. Now, in the electric energy production in Turkey, I would like to briefly talk about photovoltaic sector, and I will finalize my presentation in 3 to 4 slides. I do not want to go into detail. You all know the importance of solar. Our solar potential is very high. It is inevitable that the importance of sun in the total energy will reach a certain ratio. We are trying to make it more rapidly and concretely, both in domestic and foreign markets. So Turkey has the potential to be, to exist and to be a big actor both in domestic and foreign markets. This is due to the right investments of solar potential and solar industry. So we need a reliable roadmap. We are trying to prepare this. Our efforts are ongoing. Anyway, I would like to talk about our studies. We have commissions, Regulation Commission, Technical Commission related to law, and these are divided into 4 or 5 arms. In the working groups, our members can attend to these working groups. So we have announcements in our website regarding this. If you like, you can subscribe and attend. As a result, when we look at the development, and 3 years ago we had off-grid systems. The total number of them is unknown, but I believe it is about 5 megawatt. Off-grid will exist in areas with no electricity. Solar installations will continue in small amounts. Yes, but the real activity will occur in 1000 megawatt license systems, which we call grid support systems. As you can see, large-scale installations are becoming attractive. I will later on give the figures, but we believe that the number of 1000 megawatts licensed and mid-scale practices will increase rapidly. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to finish my presentation. In the licensed, as you know, we received applications on June 10th, 14th. The total number of applications were 496. They applied with about 9,000 megawatt for 600 megawatt, which is almost 10 times higher than our figure. So this means that solar becomes more feasible and it is important for investors. Or maybe everybody thinks that it will take 2 or 2.5 or 3 years to operate a power plant and dealing with regulations. Almost 1 year has already passed. We believe 2 years later the figures will be more attractive. As you know, we are conducting examinations. They are sent to the General Directorate of INDEP Energy. We received almost 80 opinions from there. After the remaining 80 will become clear. As you know, there are many contradictions. There will be a competition for them. Then we will give out the licenses. We believe that power plants will be operating as of 2015. As for the unlicensed, by September the number of applications was 1030. As you know, we haven't been receiving applications since May due to the change in the regulation, but now when we look at these figures, there are 1000 applications. 500 is for the solar, the rest is for wind and hydraulic. 638 of them have favorable opinions, 418 of them are at solar. We believe that unlicensed applications of solar will dominate the others. As far as we know, 6 companies started to invoice and get their money. This is important. As you know, reuptake of 1000 megawatt applications have begun. New regulation was announced in October 2nd and the capacity was increased to 1000 megawatt. This is the maximum capacity for unlicensed, and this can be increased by the decision of ministries, the Council of Ministers. Everybody now applies individually. There are 25 to 26 applications in Konya only, and even to a transformer center. So as we come closer to New Year, we believe this 1000 will increase to 1500. Solar will enhance rapidly in unlicensed. I thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions, we are ready to answer.
Paralarını almaya başladılar. Bu da önemli bir konu ve bu 1 megawattlık başvuruların şu anda yeni alımları başlandı biliyorsunuz. 2 Ekim'de yeni yönetmeliğimiz yayınlandı. 1 megawatt'a çıktı. Artık bu lisanssızların üst gücü arttı. Bakanlar Kurulu kararıyla daha da artırılabilir. Aldığımız bilgiler artık bir herkes başvuru yapıyor. Sırf Konya bölgesine yaklaşık 25-26 tane başvuru yapılmış Konya'daki bir trafo merkezine. O yüzden biz bu sayının, bu 1000 sayısı herhalde yılbaşına kadar geldiğimizde 1500'lere kadar çıkacağını düşünerek lisanssız elektrik üretiminde güneşin çok hızlı bir şekilde ilerleyeceğini düşünüyoruz. Ben teşekkür ediyorum dinlediğiniz için. Sorularınız varsa da cevaplamaya hazırız.
Let's take the questions later on. Okay. Thank you very much. And I wish success to you.
Çalışmalarında başarılar diliyoruz. Şimdi
Now, Chairman of Resyat Wind Energy Power Stations Investors Association, Selahattin Baysal. Selahattin Bey is our brother. He is one of the pioneers to operate in wind sector. He has very valuable studies, contributes a lot to the sector, so the floor is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet you with respect. When we started the energy business, Murat Bey was a bureaucrat with knowledge of electricity. We venerated him. He said that it looked that way from our perspective. If it does not sound rude, I will later on tell you a Black Sea joke. Distinguished colleagues,
Elektriği iyi bilen bürokratlardan sayılıyordu. Yanından selavatla geçirdik biraz böyle. Demin dedi ya, o taraftan, yani bilen oldu iş. Dedi ya, bizim taraftan bakınca böyle gözüküyordu dedi. Nezaketsizlik saymazsanız onu bir anekdotla veya Karadeniz fıkrasıyla şey yapacağım daha sonra.
I'm also the founder general president of Turkmenistan Friendship Association. I'm a citizen of Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan has a popular poet. His name is Mahtun Kulu. He has a great poem, a stanza. If it is not for the property of the public, no brave fellows appear. If no lunatics exist in the arena, your worries never end. Now, everybody talk about wind, solar, etc. 15 or 16 years ago, they value you as Don Quixote. They saw you as a real lunatic, not in the way I understand. One day I went to the Ministry of Energy. He's the Vice President of Energy. I am not going to give his name. I went to Denmark and learned about the wind, and I was telling him, wind is this and that. He told me, Selahattin, you are a serious man. Why are you dealing with such an absurd work? Again, in the same days, the Chief Police Constable of Istanbul, who used to be Vice Director General of Public Security in Ankara, we came together at dinner. I was talking with him. He knows many people, and I was trying to tell this story to everyone, saying that we can produce electricity from wind. At the end of the dinner, he told me that, Selahattin, I got it. You want to feather your nest. This is the police perspective. In the years 83-84, we came together with a young person who had master's and doctorate degree in electric electronics in the US. At those days, I was an officer. In İncekum Alman Kapı Alanya, he was telling me, he's talking about the solar power, the solar energy. So in 1983 and 84, I installed the electric producer Photovoltaic to produce electricity to 1,500 forest fire watchtowers of the General Directorate of Forestry. Then in the evening, I gathered my colleagues. I was telling them. One of them told me, the sun fades. Is it because they call it solar? In Turkish, solar means fading. There are plenty of things to tell you. Distinguished colleagues, I will finish my presentation with the same thing. For instance, 75 million Turkish people producing, then they get $100 billion. But 75 million people consuming, then they got $170 $70 billion. And the deficit between is called the current deficit. 95% of current deficit is due to foreign dependency in energy. Can such a country have a national economy, national pride, national security? You are obtaining 73% of the electric energy from abroad because it is indexed to petrol prices and dollar. I'll just give you an example to explain the situation we are in. Former Ministry of Energy Hilmi Güler. I have respect for him. One day we had a quarrel. His advisor Musa Günaydın was also here. I do not say that word because I do not reproach it to a ministry of Turkish state, but you are not telling the truth. He said, just give me an example. I told him, you are serving as a minister for 7 years. You have 37 statements about solar energy, over 100 for wind energy, but we don't have a single megawatt installed capacity. Don't you ever thought about it when you are making these 37 statements? He said, yes, you are right. What should we do? Then you prepare a study and bring it back to me. I went out. We asked the opinions of almost every people, from colleagues in our association in Riyadh to the academicians in universities. At the end, I do not want to take your time. I know how it feels like. Then I said, I prepared the study. He said, talk. I have witnesses. They are all alive. Enact a law that states you are giving privilege in licensing to companies who are going to commit and guarantee to produce local turbines and equipment. They are preparing a new law, so I suggested them to put this into the new law. He said, you are completely right, Selahattin Bey. Then he pushed the button of the telephone and told the authorized person what I was thinking. The authorized person said, we should investigate this according to EU legal requests. That day I had a paper and it is written that Germany gave 8.7 euro cents purchase guarantee to wind, but other countries reported Germany to the European Court of Justice for the free circulation of commodity, because this is against the European Union acquis. European Court of Justice had a verdict. Each country can get the necessary precautions and promotions for the health of human, animals and flora. I had that verdict in my hand and I gave it to the ministry. The ministry read the verdict to that person. Then the bureaucrat said, our president said that we are going to be a part of World Trade Organization, so we should examine this for the rules of World Trade Organization. As our meeting was not going well, he told me that let's talk about it later. I am a religious person. I know that gossip is a very bad thing, but this is not a gossip. I'm telling you because there are young ladies and gentlemen here. That colleague used to work in DPDT. The undersecretary of DPDT was a very close friend of mine. He frequently came to me and told me to promote him to senior status. I realized it. He had social democrat origins, but he's not a statist. He was against the participation of the private sector in anyway. He used to be. Then he received a scholarship and went to the US. So you see what Eisenhower scholarship makes you say. There are some kind of people on one part of the table. I am saying this to young people especially. When you start to work in renewable energy, nobody will like you. I can give you very devastating examples. In the last 5 to 20 years, I underwent 2 cardiac surgeries. I installed power plants when we came to 2012. We struggle for Renewable Energy Act to be enacted. Politics, colleagues, former head of Energy Commission, Soner Aksoy. He is now a panelist in another meeting hall. God save him. He is a man of honor. He helped us. It continued for 3.5 years. He brought the law even to the parliament to put a sublimit. The price of renewable energy in the Act is the electricity wholesale price of the previous year at the average. But we put a lower limit, which is the price cannot be lower than 5.55 euro cent, so that it brings us finance or etc. Distinguished colleagues, it was held in the parliament for about 11.5 months. The chairman of American Wind Energy Association is my partner, and I am the Turkish representative of a turbine company in Denmark. Renewable Energy Act number 5346 was held at the agenda of the parliament for exactly 11.5 months. At each Monday they ask, what was the first one? 5346 Renewable Energy Act. Is Commission here? Absent. Is government here? Absent. Delayed. Finally, my American partner said that, Selahattin Bey, you are a good guy, but your government do not support this activity. Hope God will help you. And then he went away. A lunatic in a mental institution wrote a book, brought it to chief physician in the evening. He said, "Dear doctor, I'm okay now. I'm recovered. I even wrote a novel, so please read it." The doctor said, "Okay, I will be on duty tonight, so I will read it." Tonight he opened the first page of the book. As he promised, he started reading. Oh, the expressions are very good. Sentences are very nice. He couldn't help himself. He kept on reading. The book was very exciting. Came to 300 page. He even didn't care for his other patients. He just kept reading. At page 300, the hero of the novel, to his village, told his fiancée, jumped on his horse. He rode horse from village to the river. When he came to the river, he said to his horse, "Go," but the horse did nothing. Then he turned over the pages and he saw everywhere. He said, "Go," but the horse didn't. This is a Turkish joke. Authorizations, regulations, laws are just like this joke. In İzmit Dikili, in Kefren, where last year boats sank together with the rescue boat, I had a project, a small project, 5 megawatt. So we applied to the general staff. It lasted for 9 months. 9 months, just to state that it has nothing. It is not related with military. Our commitments are present for 9 months, etc. Dear friends, despite all of this, united we stand, united we are stronger. Many hands make light work. I studied Turkish history, more or less. The ancient ancestor of Turkish Turks is Oğuzhan. One day Oğuzhan gathered his sons and grandsons, took an arrow, broke it into two. This is an anecdote told in the elementary school. Then again broke it into two. Then he folded them, but then couldn't break them. And he said, "If you stay alone, you will break like this arrow." The main target of becoming an association and collaboration is that united we stand, united we are stronger. You can fill the glass to a certain level. The final drop is added by someone. The final drop is the person who spilled the water. And that person is important. Maybe its contribution is very minor, but its effect is to spill the water. Another anecdote I love. Somewhere near Dicle River, a person gets up from the dawn prayer, wanders around the river, and he sees some movement in the river, like a giant fish or like a crocodile. But it was a person yelling, two, didn't understand anything. And he sees him 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Then he goes to a saint and tell him what he's experiencing. "What is this?" he asks. The saint says, "I love this
Answer. Two people is enough, are enough, if you love each other with sincerity, with justice, and for God's sake. But this is not that much suitable for the character of Turkish people. There is a saying in Firdevsi Shahname. Turks came and gathered in a tent, just like we gather. They talked all night long, they discussed, they argued, they fight, then they went away. I sadly state that I do not underestimate any effort that is being given. But since Firdevs, it seems that not so many things have changed. Distinguished participants. One day, Köroğlu was passing by a village. An old and blind woman was cursing him, saying that, "Be blind, Köroğlu." As you know, Köroğlu means son of the blind. Köroğlu said, "I never passed from this village. I have no harm to anybody here. I did not do harm to any possessions of theirs." He came closer to that woman. She was blind. "Mother, why are you cursing at me? Do you know me?" "Son, I don't know. Strangers say so do I." Local and clean energy investors, or generally energy investors. Most of them, they are saying, "Aren't you into energy business?" They come to me, say, "Brother," or "Dear Chairman, last week I purchased 10 megabyte capacity project." So this is the identity of some of our investor portfolio. Maybe I am speaking very comprehensively. I adore Ünal Bey's courtesy. I summarize them. So this is some of our investors portfolio. The second group, most of them have foreign partners. I mean, for instance, you worked in the Ministry of Energy. You developed project in DSI, BOTAŞ, etc. 3 megawatt, 5 megawatt. You developed it and you are going to put it into investment. If you don't have any bank, you cannot invest. So there is no mechanism that support and motivate project development. If you have a foreign partner and if that partner have a bank, then it's okay. Thirdly, as the amount of energy investment grows, it began to require a mutual relation with the political government. Instead of focusing on establishing A association, B institution, or A platform, people focused on how to establish personal dialogue with the relevant ministry or relevant undersecretariat, etc., with person number 1, number 2, or number 3, and get the A project or B work. No foreigner will do your local solar, wind, biogas, geothermal, local coal, etc. Whatever we can think of. It's not clear what he is going to do in the Middle East when current deficit occurs. I am citizen of Turkmenistan. I know Kazakh, Kyrgyz, Turkmen, Azeri languages. We will see, maybe Turkey will become an extraordinary power in this region. But then it should be dependent on the foreigners in energy. I don't know if I can answer your question, but the minister who dictated this price knew that we cannot do anything with this price amount. And I assure you, in 2005, the minister who decreased the price to 5.5 Turkish lira, at those days, the head of Energy Commission, Soner Aksoy, did not know this. Former Minister of Energy Hilmi Güler did not know. It was in the General Assembly. Indeed, in the act that was enacted in 2011, prices suddenly converted to $. Now we have almost 3,000 megawatt. Nordex representative was also here, so almost 2,000 to 2,500 megawatt are European origin. 90% of the finance, 90 or 80% of the turbine, we are purchasing them from Europe, in euro. But the prices are $. Again, with the commission of just one person, Nurettin Canikli Bey, AK Party Group Deputy Chairman, I instructed him
The Minister of Energy Taner Yıldız did not know anything in the General Assembly. I don't know if I could answer your question. So this is false. For solar energy, 13.3 dollar cents does not exist in any part of the world. Yes, this is what I can say. Thank you for your time and patience. Do you have another question? Yes. Renewable energy is completely a prerequisite for our country. However, although the mechanisms should promote and encourage investors, the NGOs investors, etc., as if they are committing an offense, they are trying hard to prove themselves, to reveal the requirements. I don't know what to say. I hope we'll get over these bad days and we will remember it with joy. We hope so. Thank you very much, and I thank you our panelists. Thank you.